All right, we are live. It's the Spinning Back Fist MMA show. Robbie Fox, Jack Mack, Big Ev, as always, at Barstool HQ. A little separated today. The studios are booked up, so we're doing it remote from the same location, if that makes any sense. And we are presented by New Amsterdam Vodka. Born from an uncompromising passion for great vodka, while making great vodka is New Amsterdam's passion. They are most inspired by those who stay true to who they are and share an unbridled passion for everything they do. From pursuing their dreams to celebrating with friends to having an epic night out. UFC 300 was most certainly an epic night out on Saturday night, this past Saturday. That is why New Amsterdam Vodka is the official vodka of Barstool Sports. Find your wins with New Amsterdam Vodka. Great
And
stuff. We love them. The Pink Whitney. I got the Pink Whitney right behind me here. Boom. New Amsterdam. Oh, look at Ev. Ev's got fireworks going off.
I don't know how the fuck I did that. Did I do that?
Yeah, you did that. It's so Apple has new stuff. If you do a double thumbs up, if they see that,
shit.
boom.
Damn.
Yeah, go like this. Do a double rock. You can go to a rock concert. Boom.
Holy shit. Shout out to
Moscow. The New Amsterdam Moscow Mules, they made them specifically for us at the watch party, which, by the way, we're going to do other ones as well. Hopefully the next one, it will be where we can all go. So it could be a Spinning Back Fist meetup. But the Moscow Mules with the New Amsterdam were flowing. They were amazing. Shout out New Amsterdam. We love you. We love you.
Yeah, that looked like a fun watch party. You, Billy, Large,
Ken Jack, who
nice.
was a big Whaley Zhang fan for the night. And then Ken Jack was there, and then I was trying to Cody was there, who's more behind the scenes guy, nice. But he was having fun. It was an awesome night. Shout out Sucker Punch Sports Bar as well.
Yeah, so this show, we were talking about it a little before we went live. We don't have like a card this weekend, a UFC card to break down. We've got PFL on Friday. No cards really this weekend. I'm a little excited about that because I'm going to be traveling this weekend for a wedding. So I'm like, okay, good. I don't have to miss a UFC card. But we obviously have tons of fallout from UFC 300.
Also, my bad, not for our boxing people. Haney Garcia is this weekend.
That's right. And they've been all over New York at the top of the Empire State Building, shoving each other. Haney's got his guy bringing the belt around on the sidewalk. That fight kind of like snuck up on me, but this week it definitely has felt like it's been a talking point.
And Ev, I think you and I and a few others are probably on the same side there. I think we have an opportunity to go responsibly, a responsible wager on Devin Haney to finish that fight.
Yeah, I think my play was going to be shut out Magic, very good boxing guy. I was thinking the same thing. Even he posted about it, but I was thinking that a fight doesn't go the distance just for, the sheer of one, Garcia just being like not in shape. A lot of rumors of him drinking, just like kind of not take. A lot of people think he's cuckoo, think maybe he's not. I don't know. I think it's worth it. Just, I know Haney doesn't really have knockout power. I think taking fight doesn't go the distance might be worth a stab that Garcia just walks out the goddamn ring. I don't know what's going to happen. But
yeah, that's a good point.
It's plus money for it not to go the distance. I think it's worth a shot. Also, Haney, I think he could just, especially if Garcia's not in shape, wouldn't shock me at all for Haney just pour it on like in the middle of the fight, late in the fight. So I think I'll definitely be on. I think I'll definitely be on. Fight doesn't go the distance. It's plus money. I think that's the play.
June 8th card, official for Louisville. Quilly just told us in the chat, breaking news in the Rumble chat. I wasn't aware of that. Good for Louisville. I love fight nights getting back on the road.
That's a nice spot to do it in. I like kind of going to those, obviously it's a big city, but it's a place that there's definitely a lot of MMA fans that will appreciate them being there. I think they've had it in Wichita. It's kind of nice to go to places that necessarily these you don't see big events going to, but still, the KFC Yum Center, which I'm pretty sure is the name of it. I know that through basketball. The KFC Yum Center is like a very big arena. Another place I would love to see the UFC go to, I think Bo Nickel wouldn't be on it because he's a pay-per-view or bust at this point. But having an event, I think at Penn State would be sick. That
That'd be
arena,
awesome.
they fill it out for wrestling. I think they could fill that place out 100% for a UFC event, a fight night, and get some, get some UFC Penn State guys maybe, or even the Philly and whatnot. They haven't been to Philly in a minute. Lee's always talking
Yeah, that's a
about
good
that.
point.
Why
That's been a little bit.
UFC?
I mean, they were just in Atlantic City. They were close.
Well, why don't they go to Philly? Philly, like, I mean, think about the Gracie gym over there has. You could just do a Henzo Gracie. I think that's the name of it. Gym fight night out of there. Pfeiffer, Jeremiah Wells, Sean Brady headlining. You could even have Pfeiffer headlining. Speaking of him, he got a fight today. I love that fight.
Yep.
That's going to be a bang.
Yeah, MAB, great fight. It's gonna be on. It's on 302, right?
Yeah, Newark.
303,
303. Sorry, it's on the Connor card.
Oh, it is. I thought it was Newark for some reason.
No, Jack's right. It's 303. 303.
Gotcha.
I got confused. The Randy Brown, Zaleski Santos. That's on 302, which is also a phenomenal fight. Love that fight. 302 card shaping up pretty good. I'm excited for
302 is looking awesome. 301 is, it's like interesting that if they would have followed up 300 with the 302 card, I feel like people would have been like, and the UFC hits just keep coming. Like they're following that up with a Poirier and Sean Strickland and Islam and all that. 301, not a lot of hype about it right now.
I'm going to say this for 301, though. I think 301, this is my prediction. I think 301, it's going to be like very Singapore-ish. We're not hype. Yeah. I was actually looking at it last night. Some of the prelim matchups are fucking great. They're not great like name value, but I think in terms of like fight for fight, like I was thinking like Elvis Brenner versus what's the guy's name? He's like
It's my boy Orbach.
Yeah, like I think that's a fucking banger. There's a few fights like that it might not be the best like name value, but just like phenomenal matchup wise, like really, really good. So I'm predicting 301. Not a great card like stack names, but I think we're gonna get some bangers.
Yeah, and
I hope so. I could usually put my trust in the matchmakers in that way.
I mean, we got Michelle Pereira against Ihor. That will be electric.
Yeah.
I know that's on the main card, but Joe Anderson Brito against Jack Shore is a banger too, bro.
That's another one. That's a feature prelim, like great fight.
Yep.
I'm looking now. Joaquim Silva against Jakar Close. That's a good fight.
Oh, thank you. Yes, that was the other one I was going to do. That one's awesome. You're the first fight of the night, Alessandro Costa, Kevin Borjas. That's a banger.
Yeah,
I think Costa might be like very good. Borjas isn't bad either.
And we got the legend Yasmin Lucindo's back. She's gonna go in there and give us. Oh, and speaking of legends, it's not on this card, but we have next weekend. The legend returns. Na Liang is back in the building. I hope she never gets cut by the UFC. She is going up against Ivana Petrovic. She is currently plus 350. Na Liang, she's never seen a scorecard. She's just a legend. I can't wait to see her fight. Well, maybe if she pulls off a win, it may be the greatest win in UFC history. Like people are talking about whatnot, underdog stories. That Na Liang, we will be there no matter what. I don't think I'm going to be betting on her, but I will be betting Ivana Petrovic inside the distance. This Na Liang, I can't wait to watch the Dragon Girl go to work next weekend.
The Dragon Girl, you will, if you have a right hand, it'll find her chin.
Hey, speaking of legends, we interviewed a legend this week as well, and that interview will be out very soon. We interviewed Jorge Masvidal. Got him in the office ahead of his boxing fight with Nate Diaz. Shout out to Large for setting that up for us. And it was a great interview. We talked to him for, I think, over a half an hour. It felt like a long one. Talked to him about everything from Conor McGregor to the BMF title belt, to his fight with Nate, to why he's boxing, to the UFC permitting it, to politics, to Trump, to Dave, to the MHOC. We covered it all with Jorge Masvidal. Great guy. He had pizza in the office afterwards, kind of just chilling afterwards. Really fun time though.
He was awesome. I would say it was one of our best interviews yet. Speaking of another interview we did Aspinall last week, you could still watch that. A lot of it's still current. We only talked about UFC 300 for like a very tiny bit of it, but Masvidal was amazing. He rolls deep. But he's
the camera crews. He had 2 full camera crews with him.
For a guy that, and he trained early in the morning. He was tired. He still gave us I think it was 45 good minutes. That's something like I'm always like, you don't have to do that for us. Like, that's just awesome. Course, he was attentive. He gave us great answers, made us laugh. He was awesome guy. One of the best.
It was fucking awesome. I love Masvidal. I've been a Masvidal guy for a long time. I was on I told him one of our first shows was when the Colby thing happened. Well, when it was our first show ever was when he fought Colby on pay-per-view. One of our following ones was when he allegedly fought him, which those remember. I actually remember we didn't have a room. We had a table. I believe it was the episode we interviewed RBY. We were in the green screen room.
Oh, yeah.
And I gave a passionate rant on behalf of Mr. Masvidal. And credit to me, didn't even tell him that. Should have actually told him that. Probably should have told him that. But it's all right. Big Masvidal guy. He was phenomenal. He was really, really
That
good.
was very funny, too. Him talking about that alleged incident was great.
Yeah, he's a very funny. I don't want to ruin it. It's a great clip. I think it may be the promo clip. Robbie asked the question and he brought it up. It was great.
It was good stuff. Hot Billy, I know your answer to this, boys, but Hot Billy wanted to ask, what was your worst beat at 300? Holloway by points or Zhang by sub? I mean, you want to answer this, Ev?
That's Herzog, man. This fucking guy Herzog. He was gonna. Honestly, it made me more mad because I was watching a bunch of the like UFC fighters react. Everyone's got a YouTube now doing reactions to the fights. And I watched Volkanovski's, and Volkanovski's was mine. He was like, it's over. He was like, she's asleep. he literally went like this. He was like, what are we doing? He was like, she's asleep. Yeah. She's sleeping. It's over. And I was like, Alex, yes. I was like, thank you. I'm not just some better that's just yelling at the screen willy-nilly. I'm like, I know what the fuck I'm watching. That was bullshit. I don't care.
Is that your worst beat too, Jack?
These people, they have warrior spirits. You have to protect them from themselves. It doesn't matter if you dropped her later. That means nothing. She was asleep. The fight was over. Plus 500, inside the distance nuke. It was nonsense. And I got robbed. Literally robbed.
And then, did you see Herzog was on Twitter like mocking us?
Unbelievable.
So here's the thing. Is that really him or is that a parody account? Because
I think
it has to be a parody, right?
No,
Herzog,
he went on
that's
Twitter.
Really him.
He went on Twitter and mocked us. That's our hard-earned money that we give 50% to the government for on April 15th, and he was mocking us on April 13th. He got out of the ring like a guy that had an awful game and immediately went to Twitter to talk to the trolls. She was asleep on the mat. They had to push her off.
Yes, I had to literally say, I had to lift her off of her corpse. Fucking crazy. 2024 has been a bad year for me betting wise in MMA. Even when I win, I lose. I can't win a split decision. I got girls by sub plus 500 choking girls asleep. It doesn't count. It's fucking crazy. Fucking crazy.
Also,
even when I win, I lose. It's not fair.
Ev told me 2 weeks ago, or maybe it was 3. It's like he was like, we were just talking about fights. And he was like, I don't think I've ever won a split decision. And since then, I think he's lost another 3 split decisions.
All of them.
Chris Curtis.
Scherer. Loser that he won. Chris Curtis. Loser. That was a nuke. Needed it bad. Loser. Fucking Oliveira, which Oliveira was the one I was like, all right, like, I lean the other way. Like, if I had no money on it, Armin, but there was definitely a debate there, and it was a real split. Mm-hmm. It's just every split. Yeah. I've never won a split. I've continued to lose them. The next one I win will be the first.
You could tell these guys are fired up because I'm in the room between them right now. And when they were ranting, I could hear like the echo of their actual voice coming through the walls. It's Understandably so. I think very justified. Let's also tell the people about another sponsor, DraftKings. We love DraftKings. We've been using DraftKings a ton, used them this weekend for UFC 300, of course, and you could use them for the NBA as well. The 82-game preseason is in the books, and it's finally time for the real season. Don't miss out on any of the NBA playoff action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. From the play-in tournament through the finals, from every opening tip to every buzzer beater, DraftKings Sportsbook has got you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. And if you're new to the whole sports betting thing, super easy to get started. Try betting on something simple like a team to win. Go to the app, select your team, place your first bet. It's that simple. And here's something to sweeten the deal for all new customers. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Great deal. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code BACKFIST, all caps, BACKFIST, code BACKFIST to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Let's go next. Let's go next in the NBA playoffs.
Nick the fuck up.
That's right. Nick the fuck up.
Saturday, baby.
Is that the first game Saturday? Who are the Knicks?
That would be game one. We'll find out who we're playing tonight.
Gotcha. I'm excited for that.
Sixers or Heat, they'll both get the smoke. Not worried.
As far as UFC 300 Fallout goes, I feel like the most is probably came from the Max Holloway side in terms of like Max has actually talked about fighting Conor for the BMF title. He's talked about going at Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria has responded. They've gone back and forth at this point a little bit. Max posted a great, he posted like a Bible verse, and then you look up what the Bible verse is, and it's like, the warrior shall fucking fall. It's the most intense thing I've ever read in my life. What are you guys thinking as far as like the biggest headlines post UFC 300, post Saturday night, the show we did then?
I think the biggest thing is what you just said. What do we do with Max? Does he go down to 145? And Ev brought this up when we were talking to Jorge. We talked about it on Saturday night as well, was that Max looked good for 155 here. When he was against Poirier, he looked a little, not to say he rushed to go up there, but when we talked to Max, he said, when I go back up to 155, I want to stay there and I want to do it the right way. But then again, that was before the rise of Ilia, and also the BMF title was such a big opportunity for him. Obviously, I mean, look at what happened, 600K, and then on top of his win bonus and show, and his popularity is at an all-time high. But yeah, I think the biggest question right now for me is what's next, and is it Ilia? And if it's Ilia, when?
Yeah, Ilia kind of teased the spear today, didn't he?
Yeah, that's honestly what I was going to say. Having some more time to digest it, considering how big I think Topuria is now, and especially in Europe, and I think he's becoming in the States. Outside of Conor, considering what Holloway just did in the moment, everyone watching, Topuria Holloway might be the biggest fight you can make in the UFC right now.
Do you think bigger than if they could make Jones Stipe?
Yes.
What about?
I think people don't. I think people are like over. Respectfully, I think people are just over Stipe. Like I think
that might just mean. I think that might just be like hardcore MMA fans though, because I feel like when I talk to people, I feel like non-fans will be like, when's Stipe coming back?
I just think considering how big the magnitude of that Holloway moment was. And I think people had so much respect, and rightfully so, have so much respect for how good Volkanovski was. To go starch Volkanovski and then do what Holloway did, and those two meet in the middle, I think that's just such a big fight right now. I think Topuria is right. I think that's your spear headliner.
I think it could be. I agree with you. Other than a McGregor fight, that's the one I would be interested in the most.
And it's thinking more about the Holloway thing with him going down to 45. With Topuria, you at least know we're gonna stand and bang. And Topuria can grapple, he can, but I think he's gonna go in there and he's saying, I'm gonna be the first man. that knocks out Max Holloway. And I think you can sell the fuck out of that.
Yeah.
Now, two things. The spear, that's September, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
306.
I don't know how much Dana wants to beef that bad boy up, because I know Sugar Sean was kind of alluding to it at points, but Sugar's booked himself for like every pay-per-view. It's just kind of what he does, which is funny. But I don't know if they'd even do this, because speaking of what's the bigger fight to make, and this is crazy, but is John Jones Poatan bigger than Holloway to Pereira, or is John Jones Poatan not even like a possibility? Like, that's just so fantasy booking.
I don't know. Poatan said he wants to move up to heavyweight. Like, I feel like it's not, it's not like a pipe dream. Like, it could happen.
If Poatan avenges Yuri, Jamal Hill, and then he also avenges, obviously he comes in, he beats Izzy, and then he avenges John Jones, it would be, we have to talk after this topic. People are talking crazy about Poatan and like the GOAT and whatnot, but he's on a run I know. Where do you guys stand on that? Because he's on a run right now that's insane. Like, is he the greatest mixed martial artist ever? And I'm not saying stylistically, but I meant from like kickbox, like his accolades are insane.
He's got an incredible combat sports resume for sure.
Yeah.
But GOAT mixed martial artist is, I think,
no, he's not even in the conversation.
He's 9-2.
Yeah.
Like, listen, he's a two division champ, and he's going to be in the Hall of Fame and all that, and he deserves it. But he literally like hasn't even really fought like a grappler yet.
Yeah,
like he's still so early in his MMA career. Listen, if he I just think that's just John Jones in one. Like, respect. I mean, come on, man. Like, the way his wrestling pedigree. I mean, and going up so far in weight. If he were able to be the first, if he were able to be the first 3 belt champ in the UFC, I mean, God bless him. I mean, then we can have a conversation.
I think he's the most likely person to do it in forever. Maybe most likely person.
For sure.
Because he posted, he was like 232 in the octagon on Saturday. Like, he is a big dude. If he
even that, like,
a little bit bigger.
Like Aspinall doesn't cut weight. He's 255 when he fights.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, what's great? It's so off topic, but like, I saw The Rock posted that he was 284 in the ring at WrestleMania. And that made me be like, holy fuck. That kind of put into like context how big The Rock is. 284.
Also, quick, just Lee sent this to us. Aspinall just confirmed 304 in Manchester, which would be the July pay-per-view.
Where in the Barstool?
Wearing a Barstool hoodie.
Really?
Hoodie. He's wearing it when he says it.
Shit, I gotta check this text.
It's a video. He posted it already on Spin, and he sent it to us in the group chat. 304 official in Manchester. I'm assuming I would assume they go big for that and do a double title and do. I would assume they go Leon and then Aspinall defending the interim. I'm guessing. I would think they do him versus Gon or him versus Blades,
and then
do
Leon
Bilal.
and
then do Leon Bilal or Leon Shavkat, something like that.
Patty and Molly both.
Patty and Molly on the card. Patty on the main card. I did some
Nathaniel Wood. Does he have a fight coming up?
Who?
Nathaniel Wood.
I don't believe he's been booked, so I'm sure he'll be on it.
They like putting him on that.
I did some post UFC 300 matchmaking.
Okay, let's hear it.
I made a list. So I think some are like kind of obvious. Like, if Pereira stays at 205, I think Ankleev has to be the fight. I don't know who else it would be at this point at 205. I think Jamal Hill Yuri is just I think that's a no-brainer next fight. I think they both.
Did Jamal call him out? Did he say that?
Jamal said he wanted it. If you're not going to do Yuri Pereira rematch right away, I think Ankleev deserves a shot. I think Hill Yuri would just be fun. I was thinking about Rockage. I think Rockage, there's 2 good, either Rockage, Johnny Walker,
Mm.
Rakic, Khalil, Roundtree.
Ooh, and
Both good
And-
I think
fights, yeah.
Roundtree is the one I'd like more because I think if Roundtree beats Rakic, he's like really close to a title shot, like one away, I'd
Yeah.
say.
I think
And I think that's just more of like a little more technical of a matchup.
Mhm.
Roundtree is a guy that I'm really interested to see how far he could go. Like as you said, Ev, a win against Rakic, and then maybe
He's
you
top
could
5 if he
even
does that.
you could make an argument after that for if it would be tough to like if Yuri really beats Jamal Hill, it'd be tough to deny him the rematch if Poatan beats Ankalaev. But you could even book whoever wins Jamal Hill against Yuri has to fight the winner of but that really wouldn't make sense now I'm saying it. But Roundtree would be right there. What would you line?
I think the winner of that Roundtree, if they did a Roundtree Rockets, the winner could get like Blachowicz or something if he's still around.
Yeah.
What would you line Ankalaev against Poatan?
I think Ankalaev would have to be the favorite. I don't know if he would be, but that's the way I'd line it.
Really?
I would.
Pereira just has not been really challenged grappling outside of like Gian.
I would line
I think Ankalaev is a much better grappler.
I would line that minus 180
for Ankalaev.
Yeah.
I kind of was thinking that I was going to say like 200, like 175.
Yeah, I think his grappling upside and also Ankalaev, I mean, he's shown to be tough. I don't want to give him too much credit. I'm trying to think, has he ever really been bonked? And speaking of bonked, in 205, where does on Big Av's bonkable scale? We've talked about this. Where does Yuri rank? I think he breaks the computer, like your computer.
I said my algorithm prints a sword when I try to put him in. He has to be on the unbonkable side. He has to be. A guy who has the amount of fights he's had in the UFC and has fought the guys he's fought and I guess he's only been knocked out to Pereira. And even that, people thought it was early. I don't think it was crazy early. Some people do, though, and I understand it. Yeah, I'd say he's pretty like, if it's from Phil Hawes to like Max Holloway, Vittori, he's like pretty far on like this side. Like I'd say if Holloway's like 100 and Hawes is like a 0, he's got to be like 85.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking at least like 75. Yeah.
Because like even like Glover had him on skates a bunch. But
yeah.
he doesn't but like
he
doesn't
takes
get
so many shots
out.
too. Like that's the other thing is like he takes a billion shots. So it's like, yeah, eventually he's gonna get bonked, but he has to take a billion to get bonked.
I think he's the most durable chinny fighter I've ever seen. No, this is the debate I was having, or is he the most chinny durable fighter?
See, he's breaking Big Ev's brain right now, just trying to come up with
because there's part of that I'm like, he's so I don't know. Yeah, my brain is just malfunctioning trying to process which one he is. Most chinny, durable fighter. Because he's durable as hell, but he'll be on skates. Like he'll get wobbled.
Mitt Romney in the chat is trying to push for Diego Lopez versus Josh Emmett for the Sphere. That's a great
I wrote
matchup.
him down. I wrote down Evlov or Emmett because obviously he called for Evlov. I'd love to see that, but that was who Emmett I wrote as well because I think that it's a good move up the rankings, but it also makes sense. Two guys that show obviously Emmett probably is the most pop in that division with Taporia, but Lopez. I mean, his last 2 fights have been quick knockouts. And Sadiq's not some guy that's been like chinny in this net. Like he knocked out a guy who's like shown some durability. He's got some pop.
Yeah.
Going down the list, Holloway to Pereira, we already talked about. Gaethje, I was having a tough time. I think. All right, so this is I said this because I think it makes sense, and because I think he's going to lose his next fight. I think Gaethje Poirier trilogy. If Poirier loses to Islam, which I think he will, I think the Gaethje Poirier trilogy would be awesome. So I'm in on that. They're one apiece. With Zhang, I think Tatiana Suarez is going to get the next title shot. I think it makes sense. I think people would like to see that. Weili Zhang's been on an incredible run. She's got a pretty strong argument for pound women's one right now. This fight I love. Jan Lemos. Give me that. I think that's a banger. I think the fans would love to see that. I think it's a great fight matchup wise. Both, why not? So for Charles, how about Gamrot?
Yeah,
like that?
that's one of the. I like that. That's one of those fights that, like, when you really think about it, it almost surprises me that they haven't fought already.
The thing with Charles is he's fought everyone else at the top.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's kind of where I was getting.
When
I was like, it'd be a phenomenal grappling exchanges.
Yeah,
I think he chins Gamrot.
I think he could too. I also liked someone said on Saturday night, I don't know if it was one of you guys or Lee, like, could Charles challenge Max for the BMF belt? And that, like, kind of fascinates me.
Lee said it. I'll give Lee that credit, and I like it. I don't hate it.
I like that too.
But what does the UFC do with the BMF belt with Holloway? Like,
I think it's like
sit there?
I think it might be on hold for a second. Yeah. And
then if he wins 145, like when he fights for the belt against Pereira, let's say that's next. Is the BMF belt up for grabs there? No, right?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
It's interesting with Max. I was thinking about this too. I think he kind of legitimizes the BMF a little bit because he's the first one that was a real champion.
True.
The other 4 guys that have fought for it, they were either all interim or they were guys who fought for the belt and lost. They all fought for the undisputed belt and all lost their opportunities. Yeah. He's the first guy that was like a real champion on his own merit.
It's a good point.
So I think he brings some legitimacy to even I heard Dave call it's like a WWE belt, but he's a real champ.
Yeah.
I think he brings some real something to it.
Dave called it a WWE belt.
Dave,
on the rundown,
which I understand. It kind of is in some ways.
It is, yeah. He also got some shit because he said that it was a fight between 2 guys past their prime, and people were upset about that. He said about
that's like up for debate. I mean,
yeah.
Holloway, I think it's like very up for debate. I think there's an argument for both sides.
I think there is too. Some people were saying to me, like, you got to correct Dave. That's the worst statement of all time. It's like, I can't really, like, correct him right now. We're at a weird point in both of Holloway and Gaethje's careers where it's like, it's kind of yet to be seen if they're still in their prime or not.
Because Gaethje, if someone said to you like 2 months ago, you'd be like, yeah, he's coming off the Poirier knockout. You're like, oh, like he's got more in the tank. Like maybe he could blah, blah, blah. And Holloway would be like, oh, he lost to Volk 3 times. He's over. Dunzo. And then, I mean, he's coming off 3 big wins in a row.
Yeah.
Over Arnold Allen, fucking vicious Korean zombie knockout, and a vicious Gaethje knockout. So it's
at
like you're
155 too.
He's
like
on both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't. He's up for debate in terms of like if he's like past his prime or not. He's still also, what is he, 32, 33? Holloway?
Holloway's 32, I think. Yeah.
So he's been in the UFC forever. He's got a lot of fights, but he's also we've seen guys not become champion until they're 35, even in like not just heavyweight, in like lower divisions, like lower weight class divisions. So Charles Gamrot, Sarukian Islam, I think if Sarukian's next in line for the belt, for the title shot, I think he has to be. He deserves it. You knock out Dariush, you beat Charles, you deserve a title shot. Credit to him.
Yeah.
Bo Nickel. Malkoun called for it. I like that fight. I saw him talk about an aerial, and his point made sense where he thinks, even though I think Malkoun is a lot better than Brundage, he thinks that he didn't get respect for fighting Brundage 10-5, whatever. And Malkoun's like 8-3 or whatever. He's 9-3. So he thinks he won't. He thinks it's kind of like a lateral move fight wise. I get it. So he said Kopolov. I think Kopolov would make sense.
Of course, they give him Kopolov.
That's what I'm saying. It would make sense because he's very dangerous. But if he takes his back, he takes him down, it's probably over. But I think people would want to see him fight someone that could legitimately knock him out.
I think that's a great next step. I think Kopolov
would make sense.
Honestly, it would be a huge step up. And what would you line that? Nickel minus.
Nickel's got to be a big favorite still, but
350.
it's tough because Fluffy showed, which Fluffy's awesome, but Fluffy also showed like you take him down, like it's over. But Fluffy's really good. Like I don't know if people realize how good Fluffy is yet. And he called for Fluffy, and I feel like he even like walked that back. Like he's got like, oh, like that's maybe like Fluffy. Maybe like let him get a fight or two, then Fluffy. Maybe not this one.
Before you continue on your next one, what about Gaethje? What's next for him? Do you think he needs some time off? Like
I said Poirier.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the only other person I would think would be like he already fought Fazeev. Unless they did. Unless they just did like Charles again.
There's gonna be crazy thought if McGregor comes back and beats Chandler. Maybe McGregor.
I don't think it's the craziest thing. I just feel like the problem is I don't know what his stock will be.
Yeah, true.
Because if Gaethje like knocks out Chandler, he's gonna be calling for like Leon.
McGregor, you mean?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. He might call for Leon. Yeah.
I don't know if he'll get it.
Yeah,
but he'll be calling for it. I think.
I don't think Gaethje will do it or want it. But I mean, him against Moicano would be a sick fight.
I have a list for Moicano. We want to go there?
Yeah, or keep going on. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
No, you're good. Moicano would. I mean, for Moicano, I have Dariush or Hooker.
I'd like that Hooker fight. That sounds like a fight to me.
I think that'd be a great fight. I think either would be really good fights.
It'd be a fun build-up. Both good personalities. Both likable dudes. I like that.
Moicano Hooker would be awesome. That'd be like the one. Like I don't want to see either guy lose.
Exactly.
I think Aljo's interesting. He called for Ortega, but I really think him versus Evlov would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be. That'd be like.
I know, obviously, my guy Lopez called for it, and we whatever Lopez wants, I want. So if he wants that, I get it. But if they give him Emmett or somebody else instead, Aljo Ortega or Aljo Evlov, I like. I think those would be good matches.
I like both those. Yeah. Aljo is one of those guys right now, though, where at 145, I'm kind of interested in him versus anyone. Like whoever they give him, I'm kind of interested in that fight.
He just needs to clear. Like now, he fought number 8. Give him the top 5 now.
Yeah.
Give him a fight that if he wins it, like title shot.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
He deserves that.
And I think Evlov or Ortega would fit both, would match both.
Yeah.
Because Evlov is coming. Evlov's at a weird crossroads though. Because his fights are so boring, but he's so good. And I think Dana's in a weird spot with him too, where he's like, because if he beats Lopez again, he's not going to get a title shot off that, or he shouldn't.
Yeah, you're right.
He probably won't.
Let me stand up a little bit for Evlov. What he showed against Allen was, I thought that was an entertaining fight.
I didn't think it was horrible. I think the problem is Dana hated it.
Which is weird. I thought it was I
thought it was okay, yeah.
I agree with you. I didn't think it was as boring as Dana thought it was.
You are right. He did say that in the press conference, so it's like
he hated it though. Hated it. And what he matters, obviously, what he thinks matters way more than what I think or what do we think, obviously.
Yeah.
That's why I think Evlov still is like 1 or 2 away, even though he's undefeated and he's in the top 5.
Who else do you got on your matchup list?
And then obviously the only one that this is like obvious, anyone in the world would say this. Kayla Harrison, Amanda Nunes has to happen. It has to. If Amanda Nunes wants to,
you have to get there. Yeah.
It has to happen.
And Masvidal said on Helwani's show he's watched them spar at American Top Team, and he said it was one of those things where you had to separate them quick because you were like, if you guys continue to spar, somebody's going to get hurt. Like they both went so hard right away, and he like that sold me on the fight right away. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm there.
And Raquel Pennington's apparently hurt.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize that.
She is. I think there was something because it was even about like I saw someone discussing the Juliana Pena against her, and I don't know if it was gonna happen, and then. So Kayla Amanda, let's say it happens late this year, December. what are you going to line that bad boy? Man,
Great question.
Good
I hadn't really thought about
question.
that. Great
that
question.
may be like evenish. Maybe one.
I was thinking close to even. Probably Amanda a slight favorite, just out of respect.
Yeah, I was going to say
No.
maybe Amanda -125, -130.
I was gonna say if there was a favorite, Amanda probably small.
But
Yeah.
I would be shocked if it open/closed anywhere above -140, -150 either way. Unless there's like injury concerns or whatnot, but it doesn't seem that way.
Yeah.
Jack, who would you bet on that? Say it's Amanda -125. Let's call it that.
I think I would take Kayla as my immediate reaction.
Same.
I think Kayla's shown she can take some punches, and like Larissa Pacheco is like kind of a decent, like she's fought Amanda in a little bit of a way. And I also think Amanda, she's coming back and whatnot, but I think she's kind of a quitter in a way. Like I don't want to like disrespect her or anything, but I think Kayla could really, it depends on her cardio. She looked so good in her last fight, but like Kayla could really like her cardio edge could be big there, and then who knows? But it's kind of a half-baked thought in my head.
I was actually leaning the other way, but I was gonna say I would bet Amanda, but I'd be cautious. I would need to. It'd be one of those things I would never put it in early.
Yeah.
I would need to see what Amanda looks like. I would need to see what like her psyche's at. I would need to see like her motivation factor. But my other thought is if she's gonna come out of retirement and take this fight and how big of a fight it would be, I would think she'd be on point. That'd be my general feeling.
Yeah.
I think she'd be on point. I would actually lean Amanda, but I could see why people would want to bet Kayla. Like I don't think it's like I wouldn't be like you're crazy. Like what are you doing? Like I would go and be like Amanda, like a 1 unit play kind of thing, like small, like regular play. I just think she's, even though it was very short. The fact that Holly Holm at that stage she's at was able even to like put on her back at any point makes me think that like an on point, ready, focused, full camp Amanda Nunes would be dangerous.
Yeah. I think part of me is hung up on the retirement thing of like, can you ever get back to that hungry point at post-retirement, post-double title thing? Like, I don't know. Kayla just seems like she fucking wants it right now. I assume she took a pay cut to come to the UFC just because she wants a title, where it's like she is hungry. She looks like a savage right now, and making 135 is, yeah. But I think it'd be close, and they need to make that fight for sure.
Little hungry dogs run faster, and I honestly don't. That's the part that gives me like the biggest trepidation.
Yeah, and we've seen Amanda struggle with motivation before. Like the Pena loss was not because Pena is a better mixed martial artist than her. It was like Nunes was just kind of like she didn't seem like she was really even training as much. She put a gym in her backyard, in her garage or something, and I know that was probably because of family issues, and not issues, but more so like she wanted to be closer to her family. But still, that's never the greatest sign. It's kind of like, it's a lot easier to go easy in your home gym than when you're at American Top Team. And the way that these fighters from American Top Team talk about Kayla is with so much respect. Not to take away from Nunes. I mean, she's the women's MMA GOAT, and she's phenomenal. But I'm kind of like with Ev. I lean towards Kayla. It wouldn't be a huge bet for me. It's a good counterpoint though, Ev. Like, I mean, Holly Holm took her down. But
reverse position.
Holly's striking is like she couldn't really get it going with Kayla, so I think maybe Amanda wouldn't be able to either. So it would be an interesting fight. It would be a co-main event for sure. I mean, I want to see it.
Let me ask you this, Jack and Robbie too. If you knew if you could get guaranteed that Amanda Nunes would be the way she was against Pena the second time, who would you bet? If you could get that guarantee, she'd be that version of herself.
I think Amanda.
I think Amanda.
Yeah,
too.
I think I would. I think I actually wouldn't bet it, to be completely fair. I think I'd
Yeah,
be
like
like,
I would. I want Kayla to win that fight just because she was cool to me when I did a video. So I'm a little biased in that way. So I feel like probably I would be with Jack and be like, all right, I don't want to touch that because I think Amanda would win. But like, I don't know. I like that's another thing with Kayla fighting Holly. It's like, yes, questions were answered, but not that many questions were answered when you fight like that version of Holly Holm.
but her finishing ability seemed to skyrocket. Like the elbows are so massive.
Mhm.
And I think we think about this with the PFL too, and I get why they don't allow them in the regular season and whatnot. But when we were watching Burgos against that Japanese fighter when he needed to finish him in the first round to make the playoffs, he was in those positions, and that was the first time I really was like, man, elbows here, this fight would be over. Because you're
Brunson
just hard.
Cooper too.
Yeah. And
Brunson Cooper was glaring. Elbows, it would have been over in like so fast.
And I get why the PFL does not allow them, but in the UFC with Kayla, you could see it really opened up in her ground and pound game. It looked natural. And the hungry dogs run faster edge is definitely in Kayla's corner. But then again, I mean, this would be a fight. It's probably easier to get up for a fight against Kayla Harrison than Juliana Pena, like for her, like without a doubt, at least in my opinion.
That is a good transition to talk a little bit about the PFL card on Friday. They've got a card. It's another event in their regular season. This one will be welterweights and featherweights. April 19th. A lot of good fighters on this card. Our guy Brendan Loughnane comes back on this card. Storley's on this card. Braga's on this card. Bubba Jenkins, another spinning back fist friend of the program, I would say.
Some really
fun
Adam
fights.
Borks and Barzola. Some really good fights.
Where is this one? Do we know where this is? Buy tickets.
Chicago.
Oh, that's right. Chicago. Duh.
Timur Krizyov.
Tyler Diamond, former Ultimate Fighter guy.
Yep. Brett Johns, I think, famously was in the UFC at one point. He fought.
He is. He's fighting Gazirov.
Yeah, and now there's some really good. Braga's back. Logan Storley's first fight in the PFL after in PFL regular season. Obviously, he was with Bellator, and then he came over in the transition phase. This is
not a lot of fighters did that too. Like Bellator fighters being like, I'm ready to hop into the season. So respect to him for doing that.
Yeah, I was like, Cavallo's a legit Bellator vet, like good fighter.
Yep.
It's a good fight. And the main events really too, like really. I know I've heard some like guys. We've gotten to go to some PFL stuff. Umalata fought when I was when I went to the one in Vegas. I believe fought Delano Taylor. I'm pretty sure. And the people that are in his gym, I was talking to what's his name? He does the PFL. Ray. Was it Rayfu, or how do you say his name? I'm sorry, I'm butchering it.
Oh, the guy who does the face-offs.
Yeah, I'm forgetting his name. It's like
I'm fucking blanking too. It's bad.
It's like Rayfo or what is it?
Cepho.
Ray Cepho.
Cepho. I knew it was Ray something. Cepho. I was really mixing the two. I was a Rayfo.
Yeah.
He was. Me and him were talking about Umalata a little bit, and he was saying everything he's heard. He might be like an AT&T guy or one of those big gyms in Florida. And
AT&T. AT&T, you said. You said AT&T, like the cell phones.
I'm watching TNT basketball and shit out playing basketball. They were saying that whatever gym he's at, one of those gyms down there, that they like speak so highly of him that he's going to be like a champ one day of like all the big promotions. He's the favorite. He's a finisher. He's a killer. That fight's going to be incredible. And I know they like Koroshev too. Is really or Grashkov.
They're tough to say, man.
But he's a monster too. So I think that fight's gonna be incredible.
Loughnane back. He's minus 525 against Pedro Carvalho.
650 now. on
And I'm
on
Yeah,
looking
DraftKings.
check
at
it out on the if you're watching on Rumble or YouTube or anywhere where you got a screen. We got the info on the screen for you now. Chicago this Friday. Main card goes live at 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and ESPN Plus, and you can get tickets to the event on Ticketmaster now. It's at the Wintrust Arena, kind of legendary venue for pro wrestling, fights, all that.
Saw Bellator
And-
there, was awesome. Good, really good place to see a fight.
Yeah, that's where you saw
and
Jason Jackson, right? The big upset.
Yep, that was where I saw Jason. Yep, really, really good card, good fight, good
Yeah.
good place to see a fights for sure.
I'm gonna bet Bubba Jenkins. I think Kai Kamaka he's a good fighter, but I think Bubba Jenkins just wrestling's a little bit above him. And then Umalatov that Ev was talking about, right? That's the guy you're talking about, or
Yeah.
Korsharov? Yeah, Umalatov. I
Umalatov
mean,
I like Umalatov. He's minus 145.
yeah, I'm over on DraftKings. Shout out DraftKings. We will have some bets. It'll be good. I mean, obviously, this is the card of the weekend, and it's going to be fun. And hopefully, we'll get out to some PFL events over the next few months because they're definitely ramping up, and it's the new era of them, and we're cheering for them.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you to everyone for tuning in to the Spinning Backfish MMA show today. We'll be back next week and we'll have some more fights to talk about. We'll recap some of the PFL fights. We'll preview some UFC fights. It'll be a good show. So tune in for our Jorge Masvidal. Yes. And tune in for our Jorge Masvidal interview tomorrow morning on this channel, all the Spinning Backfish channels. It's a very good time. You're not going to want to miss out.